Welcome to the Produce Moms Podcast, where we believe there is a produce mom in all of us. I'm Lori Taylor, founder and CEO of the Produce Moms. For 10 years, I sold fresh produce to over 300 grocery stores in the U.S. And today, my team and I are fully focused on inspiring people to eat more fruits and vegetables. This show is just one of the ways that we hope to inspire you and your family to eat more produce and live a better life. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, join our community of almost 40,000 in all 50 states and over 30 countries by visiting theproducemoms.com/subscribe. And be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. Thanks for being here. Enjoy today's show. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Produce Moms Podcast, and I am Lori Taylor. It's so wonderful. Always such a blast to be the host of this show. And, I love this show and I love the ability to host it and talk to so many amazing people because the stories just never cease to amaze me. The passion that we share on this show is just inspiring. And today's guest is a gentleman that I met through a virtual trade event in 2020, Farzan Dehmoubed. He is the founder of Lotus Sustainables. And I know that you might be thinking, have I heard of that? I bet you have. It's the Lotus Trolley Bags. It's like that famous grocery cart trolley system that you have probably seen in your grocery store, or maybe you own one yourself. I have one. I love it. I also have the Lotus Produce Bags. This company is remarkable, and their mission is to eliminate plastic from shopping. So what a noble mission as we look forward to a more sustainable future for our planet, for our families, for our industry, for our world. And Farzan, it's so great to reconnect with you and have you as a guest on our show today.
Hey, a pleasure. I'm excited to be here. Thank you. Of
course. So introduce yourself. Tell our listeners a little bit about your journey. Tell us about your background and why you started Lotus Sustainables.
Thanks. Yeah, it was about 4 years ago. My wife and I were leading separate lives. She was a teacher and I was in marketing, and we really wanted to do something together, and we wanted to do something purposeful and something we were passionate about. And, one of our frustrations at our house was all the plastic waste in our home. We'd keep going to the grocery store, forgetting our bags, having to get more bags. And this was right around the time when California was implementing the plastic bag ban. But to our frustration, the bag ban really didn't solve the problem. People were still bringing plastic bags home. It wasn't a real ban. You just had to pay for thicker, more wasteful bags now, which really didn't solve the problem. So we set out to do that. We set out to solve that problem and kind of became addicted with coming up with a solution, an all-in-one solution that not only worked for other people, but worked for ourselves. Really just finding a solution for ourselves to avoid all those bags ripping and forgetting them and, just all that waste and clutter in our home. So that's when we really started prototyping, and, a couple of months later came out with the concept of the Lotus Trolley Bags, which if you haven't seen is a pretty kind of unique concept where the bags have these rods that go across it, and it helps the bag stay upright and open in the shopping cart.
Right. And you open and close it like an accordion.
That's right. Yeah. You can spread it right out in your shopping cart. It's a set of 4 bags. And we really wanted to implement every feature that we would want in a shopping bag system. So we didn't just want to create a bag. We wanted to create a system that solved the problem. So we made sure to have an insulated cooler bag. We made sure to have specialized pockets for your eggs and wine, so you never break those. We made sure there were 4 bags so that every bag had a different type of compartment. And, one could be for your veggies, one could be one for your fruits, frozen items, your pantry items. And then they each Velcro apart. So they roll up into a nice yoga mat type of, a carrier that's easy to put in your car and easy to store in your home. And carry, but it really spreads out to be this all-in-one system where you can take home, $250 worth of groceries in 4 bags. You don't have to go back and forth to your car and take, 12 bags inside your house and worry about it ripping. Quality was really, really big for us. So we really used very, very durable materials that are far above anything used in any other type of reusable bag, really. Each bag is tested and made to hold over 60 pounds. The last thing we wanted was one of these bags ripping on someone. I think we've all kind of experienced that over our years of a plastic bag ripping on you and all your stuff falling out and the frustration that comes with that. So that was the last thing we wanted to see. So if we had to overkill our quality, we made sure to do it. And thank God we did, because that really showed. And part of the reason we have such great reviews on Amazon and over 2,500 5-star reviews is because the quality is really stands out from the crowd in a big way, along with the functionality.
Right. Yeah. And it's really amazing and also quite inspiring when I look at the store locator on your website too, to see just how that you've 4 years into this and you've got really a global footprint.
We've been really blessed, and it's been pretty amazing. You know, we came out with the product and what we thought would be 4 months of inventory. We put it on Amazon, and it really struck a chord, and we ended up selling out in 8 days what we thought would sell out in 4 months.
Wow.
And that was when we knew we had something really special.
It. Yeah.
And then the reviews started to come in, and, you know, that's the most, you know, for me, that's the part that is the most gratifying, is reading some of the reviews, and people are writing, you know, 2-3 paragraph reviews on really bags at the end of the day. But it's great to see, you know, that kind of energy and that kind of passion towards it, because it has solved the problem and it's touched a nerve. And it really, you know, people tell us all the time that, you know, they're just so much more organized, so much more clutter-free, and they love the system. They love talking about the system. They've become our advocates.
Right.
And the Lotus Trolley bags have really changed our lives for sure. But, you know, people just completely say that it's completely changed the way they shop.
Well, not only that, Farzan, you've changed the world. I mean, how much plastic waste or how many plastic bags have you prevented from entering the environment with this system that has become so popular at a global scale?
It's pretty amazing. You know, when I first got into this industry, I started looking at the facts and statistics around just our plastic waste and plastic consumption. And it's staggering. It's just so staggering and mind-boggling. The average family uses over 1,500 plastic bags.
Oh my gosh.
So think about that. Every family.
Oh my gosh, that makes me nauseous.
It does. And, you know, it's just so staggering how that multiplies. And it's just become habit. We really don't think about it. People don't know the facts behind it. And when you don't think about it, you don't concern yourself about it, and you don't look at the impact. But, you know, one small decision, one small change in your habit can not only make such a great difference, but we're trying to show people that, hey, it's not only easy to make that change, but in a lot of cases, it's actually better for you. It's better for what you're trying to achieve. You know, this product helps people stay organized and
also more mindful when you're shopping too. Like, I mean, I find myself, you know, sometimes if you're shopping and you have this stuff cart, and for me, the trolley system, I don't know if you've received other consumer feedback that says this, but it helps me not overbuy.
Yeah.
And you know, that is really important, because with the amount of food that gets thrown away, especially here in the US, it's shameful, and it's something that we can all improve in our households to become a more sustainable consumer. But for me, that's probably one of the biggest things. I'm a more mindful shopper when I'm using my trolley system.
And, you know, we hear that all the time.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Gratifying thing, because you're right. You start to notice, wow, that was such a wasteful way I was doing things. Yeah. And you start to look at things differently. You know, you start to look at plastic jars instead of, you know, glass jars instead of plastic jars. You start to look at fruit that are loose rather than packaged. You start to look at a water bottle that's reusable rather than a plastic water bottle. Like, these are all things that are so easy to change, but until we kind of have that revelation of, wow, that's pretty easy to change, and it's on your mind, you don't necessarily go there. But yeah, we hear that all the time, and it's so great to see, because we're actually helping people change their habits to make a bigger impact in their lives. It's not a matter of our product. It's just a matter of, having a community that cares and sees those little changes can make big impacts.
Right. Yeah, it's an incredible success story. And Lotus Sustainables with, the trolley bags, this is the #1 reusable grocery shopping bag solution. It's unbelievable, folks. And Farzan, hats off to you and your wife. What a great example of putting passion and purpose and turning it into an action that is making the world a better place. So with that, I want to ask you a question that is really it's a very basic question, but it's so compelling. And I love asking our guests this, that have a passion for sustainability, which is how you and I met, by the way, was through that sustainability conference. But what does sustainability mean to you? How do you define it?
When you're talking about sustainability, you have to really understand that we have limited resources in this world, and how we approach our day-to-day and our consumption habits is so important. And for me, reduce, reuse, recycle, and having recycle way at the end is so important. Because, number one, we have to be conscientious that we overconsume as a human race. We consume way more than we need to, and it's catching up to us now. The effects of it are taking hold of our oceans, our environment, and it's not sustainable, right? We can't keep going that way. So reducing is number one. Reusing and coming up with ways that you can reuse, borrow, just find new ways of doing things comes number two. And lastly, which I'm very passionate about educating people on, is that recycling does not work the way people think. It is not the solution like we've been trained to think by media and by the oil industry. What many people don't know, and what many people don't like to think about, was recycling was actually invented and pushed and created by the oil industry. They did this as a ploy to help people think that they can continue to consume and just everything can just be recycled again. Right. The reality is less than 3% of the plastic that is made is being actually recycled and reused. So it's such a small percentage that, we really have to be conscientious and knowledgeable about. And the majority of plastics that are out there and plastic packaging is not being recycled. And the reality is there is no market for it to be recycled. And that's why it's not being recycled. And, I've gone to plastic recycling plants and seen the entire process. And it's eye-opening how much of the recycling that we think is going to the recycling plant is getting recycled, because it's such a small fraction of what we put in that recycling bin. And we all need to do better and shop wiser. I think change is going to happen with us making decisions with our wallets and deciding what kind of, packaging, what kind of products, what kind of brands we're going to support. When we got
let's expand on that, because other than eliminating plastic bags from grocery shopping habits, what are some other things that consumers should be doing to be a more sustainable consumer?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And that's something we focus on very strongly. We created the Lotus Trolley Bags to really target the single-use plastic bag side. And then we said, well, where else is plastic being overused where it doesn't need to be? And really, that was in the produce section for us. And that's a section where legislation doesn't talk about, media doesn't talk about, but again, the average consumer uses over 500 plastic produce bags for an average length of 12 minutes.
Yeah, I never use the plastic bags.
Right? You don't, but you think about this.
Yeah.
So many people just by habit,
like the ones that you like, if you're buying
pull off the
bulk
roller.
produce and you get them off that roll. Is that what
That's
you're talking
right.
about? Yeah.
Exactly.
I've never used them, but I've actually had people tell me that it was strange that I didn't use them. And I'm like, what? I think it's strange that you do use them.
I think you're an exception to the rule.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So that had to have been at the cornerstone of this, of one of your product expansions, the produce bags that I have from Lotus.
That's right. Yeah. So that's where we thought, wow, this is such a simple solve, right? You have one set of reusable produce bags that you can wash, reuse hundreds of times. You know, it's your bags, it's clean, you know, they're multi-purpose. And that's when we came out with our reusable produce bags. And we thought it would be maybe 5-10% of our market. But we just got such an amazing traction on the produce bags, and people just absolutely love them. And what we saw is people weren't just buying them for produce. They were buying them for produce, don't get me wrong, but they found so many other uses for them. They were using it to wash their delicates in. They were using it as craft bags. They were using it as travel bags to put their, you know, their trail mix in or their sandwiches in. There's just so many different uses. And
anyone who shops in bulk foods, rice or beans or anything like that, that you could buy in a bulk food, you know, format, I've used them in those areas and it's been absolutely fine. The mesh is really fine.
Exactly. And again, it's one of those things, once you try it and you see it, you're like, why was I doing this any other way?
Yeah.
It seems almost ridiculous in hindsight that we conducted life in that way. And, you know, as we were saying, you know, what this has done is allowed people to look at their purchases differently. So for us and thousands of our customers, they now don't buy packaged produce. You know, if I'm buying, you know, whatever that may be, a bag of carrots, I'm getting loose carrots. You know, if I'm getting a bag of avocados, I'm going to get loose avocados. And because there's no need for that bag, right? It's just extra packaging that just goes into our landfill. And what most people don't know is all of the plastic packaging in produce cannot be recycled. So many people put that in the recycling bins, but the reality is a minute percentage of that actually gets a second life and is recycled.
Yeah. And I do think that there are some, you know, there's some movements that I applaud. Are you familiar with Berry Sustainable? All of the berry growers, really in every region, every grower, you know, fierce competitors came together and they worked with the recycling community to make sure that all berries would be packaged in a 100% recyclable container. And that was a huge undertaking. I mean, it's going to take them a couple more years to get there, but these are not processes and operations that can be changed overnight. So product lines like Lotus Sustainables allows consumers to, again, like what you were saying, Farzan, vote with your dollar, right?
Yeah. So important. And, you know, it really is a lot easier than people think. It just takes a little bit of conscious effort and a little bit of change. And, you know, one thing we love with our trolley bags, and I'm sure you've maybe received this when you're shopping at the store, but it turns heads. People are like, wow, what is that?
Oh yeah. No, it's like, yes, absolutely.
Where did you get that? It's
kind of the same. I have a Great Dane. And so when I take my Great Dane for a walk in the neighborhood, same type of effect when I use the Lotus trolley bag. It is that much of a, oh, wow, what is this? Show me more. Tell me more, you know, and it really does stick out.
Yeah. And, you know, I think people initially, you instantaneously, you know, we get this all the time where people are like, wow, why didn't I think of that? Right. It's such a simple concept where you have 4 bags with bars that stay upright and you can shop and scan as you go. It's a very simple concept, but once you try it and you're in the store, you know, there's so many people that turn their heads. And, you know, our customers love talking about the product, and really much of our success is due to our beautiful customers just being advocates for our product and sustainability and genuinely wanting to tell others about it. It's not as much of, hey, I'm the smartest shopper out there, is, hey, I've found a solution and I want to talk about it. And I'm excited to talk about it because I believe in it, which is pretty amazing as a brand and a founder. That's something that really, really makes my wife and I full of gratitude.
I love that. Yeah. And there's nothing like a founder's passion. That's for sure. So we've talked about the two product lines you have. What can we have? What can we expect in the future? I mean, I saw that you recently added the trolley bag for the larger grocery carts that you see at clubs.
So we're adding a new line, and that's coming out very, very shortly. It's Club Cart Lotus Trolley Bags, and we did an exclusive run prior, and that was very successful. But we all hate going to Costco and bringing home those big bulky boxes that don't fit in our recycling bin. So This is a set of 3 much larger bags that fit the larger size shopping carts like Costco, Sam's, or Aldi. It has a very large insulated bag, and it just makes that whole checkout process faster.
Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to get this.
Yeah.
So when are they going to be rolling out mainstream?
So in about 4 weeks, we're going to be rolling that out.
Right. So early 2021, everyone.
That's right. Early 2021, we're rolling that out, and we're really excited. And we're talking to Costco about bringing that into Costco also.
Good.
Product. So a lot of exciting things ahead. And one thing that these bags really, we didn't plan for this initially, but the way the grocery industry has changed, scan, bag, and go has become very big, where Amazon technology, where you walk into a store and with your phone, you can literally scan an item and put in your cart. Yeah. Our bags allow you to pack and sort and bag your groceries as you shop. So now you don't even need to go to the checkout or bag again or do anything. Mm-hmm. You're bagging it as you shop. You're scanning it, putting it in the right bag, and you're paying for it and walking right out.
Right.
So that's happening across the country. Stores like Wegmans, Tops, Big Y, Kroger, they're all going towards that technology, and our bags are absolutely perfect for that.
Yeah, they sure are. That's such a good point. The shopper experience is changing. And one thing too is I do worry about is with the influx of online shopping. I'm hopeful that we won't see a correlating influx in plastic bags.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. We just did a big deal with Shipt. Okay. And we're talking to Instacart right now, and Shipt tested our Lotus trolley bags with their shoppers. Good. And they absolutely loved them. And the reason they love them is because of the organization factor. So
I'm sure it improves their efficiencies.
It improves their efficiencies, and it also improves their accuracy. A lot of Shipt shoppers shop for 2 or 3 customers at once.
Right.
And keeping those groceries organized, as you can imagine, just doing a normal shop, to try to separate groceries for different people would be so difficult.
Right.
But the Lotus trolley bags really allow them to keep all that organized and the accuracy.
That makes sense. Increase. Like you could put one order in each bag. Is that kind of how they're doing it?
Yeah, one order in each bag. Wow. And separate them out, and then have nice sturdy bags that you can take up to the door.
Sure.
And from there, place it at their doorstep. So it really works great. And we're talking Instacart also right now, but we're really excited about that opportunity.
It's amazing. Good. I hope that I will keep an eye out for that. I hope it comes together, because that's one thing that, there's so many devastations with the pandemic, but one thing that concerns me is the influx in plastic, reusable, disposable everything, and everything's prepackaged, and and then what we know from Shopper Insights, more people are doing things like the grocery delivery services or curbside pickups and, online shopping for their groceries. And so this is great news. I am so happy to hear that you guys have that strategic partnership, in the works.
And I want to give a little hint to shoppers that use Instacart and Shipt. When you pick your groceries and your produce, in the comment section, you can just write there, please keep it loose and don't use plastic produce bags. And they just put them all in one paper bag. And we just got a delivery the other day, and it's perfect. You go from 15 plastic produce bags to 0 just by putting that little request into your shopper.
I love that. That is a great tip. Thank you. Well, Farzan, this has been, such a great episode. So much passion. I have an incredible amount of respect for you and your wife and what you guys have collectively created at Lotus Sustainables. It's a real solution for so many different people, and definitely an example of work that matters the most, that's making the world a better place. So thanks for all that you do and for helping to, you've educated me a lot too on sustainability. I truly appreciate it. You've made me, a more educated and mindful shopper just through your Lotus Trolley bag. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you do in spreading sustainability and tips and tricks to people. So
yeah,
really appreciate it.
Of course. So it sounds like shoppers can obviously purchase on Amazon. They can also go direct to your website. Tell folks where they can go to learn more.
Yeah, they can go to lotus-sustainables.com, and all our products are on there. They can also go to Amazon and search Lotus Trolley Bag, and that'll come up right there too. But they also make great gifts. So for the holidays,
incredible gifts. Yeah.
It's a really unique and eco-friendly gift that people will think about you every time they shop. They'll think about you.
Isn't that the truth? No, it's wonderful. Well, Farzan, I'm so thankful that you are our guest today, and we have a tradition. Our guests actually sign us off from the show. So from myself and everyone at the Produce Moms, thanks for the great work you do. Thanks for being our guest today, and please sign us off.
Thank you, everybody, and we can all make a difference together. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort, and we hope everybody spreads the love for the next generation.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Produce Moms Podcast. If you or someone you know would like to be a featured guest, just send an email to Lori@theproducemoms.com. We know there is a produce mom in you because there's a produce mom in all of us. Join our community on Facebook and all social platforms. Help us change the way America eats. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.